The Joy of Being with Yourself. By Evelyn Harper. Published by Audify Stories. Introduction. Welcome to the Joy of Being with Yourself, a journey toward discovering the power of solitude, self-connection, and inner fulfillment. This book is for anyone, whether you're in your 20s, 40s, or 60s, ready to embrace the strength that comes from within. It's for those who feel overwhelmed by the noise of everyday life, who may have lost touch with their passions, or who want to experience the peace that comes from truly enjoying their own company. In a world that glorifies busyness and external validation, we often forget that our most important relationship is the one with ourselves. This book invites you to slow down, reflect, and rediscover the beauty of being with yourself. It will guide you through healing, reconnecting with your passions, building emotional resilience, and unleashing creativity, showing you how to find joy, not in the world outside, but in the quiet moments spent with your thoughts. Thank you to everyone who has supported me in this endeavor. Your encouragement and belief in the power of self-reflection and solitude have made this book possible. These pages provide the tools and inspiration to live a more fulfilled, grounded life. As you begin this journey, I invite you to share this book with those who need it, friends, family, or anyone who could benefit from reconnecting with themselves. May this book be a light in your journey towards self-discovery and inspire you to find joy in the most powerful company of all, your own. Chapter 1, Understanding the Beauty of Solitude. Solitude isn't just about being physically alone, it's about embracing yourself fully without distraction, without the need for external validation. It's a powerful, often misunderstood state of being that allows you to tap into your true potential. When you understand the beauty of solitude, you realize it's not about isolation but liberation. Feeling comfortable alone. One of the most significant challenges in today's world is learning how to be comfortable with your own company. Society teaches us to constantly seek validation through social media, friendships, or romantic relationships. But true comfort comes from within, and you must actively cultivate it. Most people fear being alone because it forces them to confront their own thoughts, inner dialogue, and, often, their insecurities. But here's the truth: solitude isn't the enemy, it's the key to unlocking your inner strength. Being alone allows you to face the things you've been avoiding, your fears, doubts, and true desires. When you face these, you gain the power to overcome them. If you can't sit alone with yourself for an hour without fidgeting or needing distractions, it's a sign that you're relying too much on external validation to feel whole. But you don't need others to complete you. You're already complete. The moment you realize this, solitude becomes empowering, not uncomfortable. So, how do you get comfortable being alone? Start small. Set aside just 15 minutes a day to sit with yourself. No phone. No distractions. Just you. Use this time to breathe, reflect, and observe your thoughts without judgment. At first, it may feel awkward. That's okay. Growth always feels uncomfortable at first. But as time passes, you'll crave peace and clarity. You'll find yourself looking forward to time alone, not avoiding it. Taking time for you. Taking time for yourself can feel selfish in a world that glorifies busyness. But it's not selfish, it's essential. If you don't take time to recharge and reflect, you'll burn out, simple as that. And when you're burned out, you're not doing anyone any favors, not yourself, your family, or your job. The first step to mastering solitude is recognizing that you are worth your time. You need to create space for yourself regularly. Block off time in your schedule where you do nothing but focus on yourself. Whether an hour a day or an entire weekend once a month, deliberately prioritizing yourself sends a powerful message to your subconscious: I am important. My needs matter. When you take time for yourself, you gain clarity. You begin to understand what truly matters in your life and what's just noise. You can't hear your voice if you're constantly surrounded by others. Solitude allows you to filter out the distractions and connect with your deeper self. In these moments of stillness, you can ask yourself the tough questions: am I living the life I want? Am I happy with who I am? What do I need to change? Don't wait for a breakdown to realize you need time alone. Be proactive. Regularly carve out time for reflection, for rest, for you. And don't feel guilty about it. The more you care for yourself, the more you can give to others. It's not selfish to fill your own cup, it's necessary. Enjoying quiet moments. There's a certain magic in quiet moments. When you're not rushing, not trying to fill every second with noise or activity, you can finally breathe. Quiet moments are where you find clarity, inspiration, and peace. But most people are terrified of them. They fill their lives with constant chatter, activities, and distractions to avoid confronting their inner selves. But the truth is, the moments of stillness are where the real breakthroughs happen. If you never give yourself the gift of silence, you'll never hear the wisdom inside you. Your mind and heart already know what you need, you're too busy to listen. When you enjoy quiet moments, you'll notice something profound: your mind slows down. The endless stream of thoughts, worries, and to-do lists fade into the background, and you can finally think clearly. You'll be able to focus on what truly matters rather than getting lost in the noise of everyday life. Learn to embrace these quiet moments. Do not rush through them. Savor them. Whether it's a peaceful walk in nature, a few minutes with a cup of tea in the morning, or a quiet evening at home, these moments are sacred. They allow you to connect with yourself on a deeper level. In silence, you'll find the answers you've been searching for. There's a reason why some of the world's greatest thinkers and creators valued solitude so highly. In solitude, you can hear your thoughts more clearly, undisturbed by the outside world. It's in this space that your most profound ideas, insights, and inspirations will come to light. Why solitude is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Here's the bottom line: solitude isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. To thrive in life, you must learn to value your alone time. It would help if you had it to recharge, think, create, and grow. You'll lose sight of yourself if you're constantly surrounded by others. You'll start living for others, meeting their expectations, and neglecting your needs. Solitude forces you to face yourself, and in doing so, it reveals the areas of your life that need attention. It highlights the places where you've been compromising, where you've been settling, and where you need to change. It's uncomfortable, yes, but it's also transformative. Think about it: how can you possibly know what you want if you never spend time alone to reflect? How can you make the best decisions for your life if you're always listening to other people's opinions instead of your own? When you prioritize solitude, you're telling yourself that you matter. You're telling the world that you value your own voice, your own needs, and your own growth. And that is the most empowering thing you can do. Solitude and growth go hand in hand. Here's a harsh truth: you will only grow with solitude. Growth requires reflection, introspection, and time to process. It needs space to evaluate where you are, where you've been, and where you want to go. You'll stay stuck if you're constantly distracted, on the go, with people. You'll keep repeating the same patterns because you're too busy to notice them. Solitude is where growth happens. It's where you face your fears, insecurities, and flaws head on. It's where you confront your limiting beliefs and decide to do something about them. It's where you realize your potential and start taking steps toward it. But don't get it twisted: growth isn't always pretty. It's often messy, uncomfortable, and hard. But it's also rewarding, fulfilling, and worth every moment of discomfort. Solitude is your opportunity to become the person you were meant to be. Please don't waste it. Solitude is a strength, not a weakness. Let's clarify: being alone doesn't mean you're weak. In fact, it's the opposite. It takes incredible strength to be comfortable in your own company. It takes courage to sit with yourself, to face your thoughts, and to find peace within. Weakness is relying on others for happiness, needing constant validation from the outside world, and finding contentment within yourself. Strength is standing tall in solitude, knowing that you are enough. The people who thrive in life are the ones who embrace solitude and who aren't afraid to be alone. They know that their power comes from within, not from the approval of others. They know that solitude is where they can hear their voice and find clarity and direction. So, don't run from solitude. Embrace it. It's your key to freedom, growth, and becoming the person you've always wanted to be. Disconnecting from the world. One of the most potent aspects of solitude is the ability to disconnect from the constant noise of the outside world. We live in an era where we are always connected, to our phones, social media, and the never-ending stream of information. This constant connection can overwhelm your mind, leaving you drained, distracted, and exhausted. If you want to experience the full beauty of solitude, you need to learn how to disconnect from the world deliberately and consistently. Disconnecting doesn't mean abandoning your responsibilities or ignoring the world around you. It means creating intentional boundaries, setting aside moments where you shut everything off and focus solely on yourself. Turn off your phone, log out of social media, stop checking the news every 5 minutes, and let the world spin without you for a while. What happens when you disconnect? You get clarity. When the distractions are gone, you can finally hear your own thoughts. You stop reacting to every notification and headline and start responding to your inner needs. The constant chatter of the world drowns out your inner voice, and that voice becomes clear in solitude. You don't need to be connected all the time. In fact, being overly connected is robbing you of your peace, creativity, and emotional balance. The world will survive without you, and you will be better off. When you give yourself the gift of disconnection, you reclaim your mental space. You can focus on what truly matters, your goals, your well-being, your growth. Solitude allows you to reflect on your priorities and see the bigger picture. Don't be afraid to step away. The clarity and peace you gain from disconnecting are worth far more than whatever you think you're missing online. Improving relationships through solitude. People often get this wrong. Solitude doesn't hurt your relationships, it strengthens them. Most people think that spending time alone will isolate them from others, but the opposite is true. When you take time for yourself, you show up more fully in your relationships. You become a better partner, friend, and parent because you've taken the time to recharge and reflect. When you learn to love your company, you stop looking to others to fill emotional voids. You stop relying on external relationships for your sense of worth. This shift allows you to approach relationships from a place of wholeness rather than need. You don't need others to complete you, you are already complete. Imagine the difference this makes. Instead of approaching relationships with expectations, demands, or emotional dependency, you come to them with fullness. You bring something to the table rather than always taking from it. Solitude teaches you to be emotionally self-sufficient, and that self-sufficiency allows for healthier, more balanced relationships. When you spend time alone, you also gain clarity about your relationships. You start to see behavior patterns that either strengthen or weaken your connections. You begin to identify toxic dynamics or recognize where you've been settling. Solitude gives you the courage to make necessary changes, whether setting boundaries, walking away from unhealthy relationships, or deepening the connections that truly matter. The truth is that people who embrace solitude have the most vital relationships because they know themselves. They don't need others to define who they are or what they want. They can stand independently, and that inner strength translates into more robust, more authentic relationships with others. Solitude also teaches you empathy. When you reflect on your own emotions, fears, and desires, you become more attuned to the feelings of others. You become a better listener, a more thoughtful partner, and a more compassionate friend because you understand the value of introspection. People who avoid solitude tend to project their own unresolved issues onto others. They get frustrated easily, they rely on others to meet their emotional needs, and they end up in codependent relationships. But when you embrace solitude, you learn to meet your needs first. You become less reactive, more understanding, and more supportive in your relationships. Learning to enjoy solitude improves every area of your life. The benefits of solitude go beyond personal growth and better relationships. When you master the art of being alone, every area of your life improves. You become more focused at work because you've trained your mind to handle silence and stillness. You become more creative because you've allowed your brain to explore new ideas. You become more resilient because you've learned to face yourself, your fears, and your thoughts without running away. In a world that constantly demands more from you, solitude becomes your refuge. It's the place where you recharge, where you reflect, and where you find peace. In solitude, you figure out what you genuinely want, free from the opinions and expectations of others. And once you know what you want, you can go after it with clarity and conviction. Solitude is not a one-time fix. Here's the thing, solitude isn't something you do once and then forget about. It's a practice, a lifelong commitment to yourself. Just like exercise or meditation, solitude requires regular attention. You need to consistently create space in your life for solitude if you want to experience its full benefits. Start by incorporating small moments of solitude into your daily routine. Wake up 15 minutes earlier and spend that time alone, reflecting on your day ahead. Take a walk without your phone or headphones. Make solitude a non-negotiable part of your life, and watch how everything else begins to improve. Over time, you'll find that you no longer fear solitude. You'll crave it. You'll begin to recognize that solitude isn't a void to be filled, it's a gift to be savored. In solitude, you find yourself, heal yourself, and grow into the person you were always meant to be. Understanding the beauty of solitude is the first step in transforming your life. When you stop running from being alone and start embracing it, you unlock a level of clarity, peace, and power you never thought possible. Solitude gives you back your time, your focus, and your energy. It strengthens your relationships, improves your mental health, and makes you more resilient in life's challenges. But it takes practice. It takes courage to face yourself in silence and stillness. Most people are terrified of what they might discover, but those who embrace solitude grow the most. They live authentically and make decisions based on their inner truth, not external pressures. So, if you've been avoiding solitude, it's time to change that. Start small, but start now. Make time for yourself, disconnect from the noise, and learn to enjoy your own company. It won't be easy at first, but with time, you'll realize that solitude is the most powerful tool for personal growth, healing, and transformation. You are stronger than you think. Solitude will show you that strength. Solitude will teach you who you really are. And once you understand the beauty of solitude, you'll never see being alone the same way again. Chapter 2, Healing and Connecting with Your Inner Child. The concept of the inner child is often misunderstood. Your inner child is the part of you that carries your earliest experiences, memories, and emotions. It's the emotional and psychological residue from your childhood, both the good and the bad. Your inner child represents your sense of wonder, playfulness, and curiosity, but also holds onto pain, trauma, and unmet needs. For many of us, the inner child is neglected, silenced, or ignored. But just because you're an adult doesn't mean that childlike part of you disappears. It still influences your thoughts, actions, and emotional reactions. If you've ever found yourself overreacting to a minor situation or feeling irrationally angry or hurt, chances are it's your inner child screaming for attention. Healing and connecting with your inner child is essential to emotional and psychological well-being. It's not about reverting to childhood but nurturing the part of yourself that didn't get what it needed when you were younger. The inner child carries your unprocessed pain, and if left unhealed, that pain will continue to show up in your adult life in ways that sabotage your happiness and relationships. So, what does healing look like? It begins with recognizing that your inner child exists, understanding its wounds, and taking steps to care for it in the way it needed back then. Recognizing childhood wounds. The first step in healing your inner child is to identify the wounds you're carrying. These wounds often stem from unmet needs, unresolved trauma, or unhealthy family dynamics. Whether it was a lack of love, rejection, abandonment, or neglect, those experiences shaped your inner child and continue to affect you today. Take a moment to ask yourself, what did I lack growing up? Did I feel loved? Did I feel safe? Were my emotional needs met? If the answer is no, you likely have unresolved wounds that need healing. For many, childhood wounds come in the form of emotional neglect. If your emotional needs were consistently ignored or dismissed, you may find it hard to express your feelings as an adult. You might struggle with vulnerability, suppress your emotions, or feel disconnected. Abandonment, physical or emotional abandonment often creates a deep-rooted fear of being left behind or rejected in adult relationships. This fear may lead to clinginess, distrust, or an overwhelming need for reassurance. Rejection, early experiences of rejection can make you hypersensitive to criticism or cause you to avoid situations where rejection is possible. You may push people away before they can reject you, creating self-sabotaging relationship patterns. Shaming, if you are consistently shamed or criticized, you might carry low self-esteem into adulthood. You might feel not good enough and constantly seek approval from others, never fully believing in your worth. The point isn't to dwell on these wounds or blame others but to recognize them for what they are, unmet needs from childhood that are still affecting your present. This awareness is crucial because you can't heal what you don't acknowledge. Identifying your childhood wounds is the first step toward breaking free from the patterns they've created in your life. How childhood wounds show up in adult life. You may not even realize how much your childhood affects you as an adult. But unhealed wounds manifest in your behaviors, relationships, and career. The inner child operates from a place of fear and protection, which can keep you stuck in unhealthy cycles. In relationships, if you experienced abandonment as a child, you may have a deep fear of being left by your partner. This fear can lead to codependency, neediness, or pushing your partner away to avoid getting hurt. Alternatively, you might prevent commitment altogether, never letting anyone get too close because the pain of potential loss is too great. In career, low self-esteem rooted in childhood can make you feel like an imposter in your professional life. You might constantly doubt your abilities, overwork yourself to prove your worth, or hesitate to ask for what you deserve, whether it's a promotion or fair compensation. In your mental health, anxiety, depression, and low self-worth are often tied to unresolved childhood issues. When you don't heal your inner child, you carry that pain and fear into every area of your life. Recognizing these patterns is a wake-up call. It's your opportunity to stop repeating cycles of hurt and to start giving yourself what you were denied as a child. Healing is possible but requires confronting the past and reparenting yourself in the present. Reparenting yourself. Here's the reality: no one will come and heal you. Not your partner, not your friends, not your therapist. Healing your inner child is your responsibility. And one of the most potent ways to do this is by learning to reparent yourself. Reparenting means becoming the adult your inner child needs. It means stepping up to provide the love, guidance, and care that was missing in your childhood. You have to be the one to fill in those gaps. Here's how you start. 1. Practice self-compassion. Your inner child has likely been carrying shame, guilt, or unworthiness for years. It's time to let go of that. Be kind to yourself. Speak to yourself like you would speak to a child who's hurting. You wouldn't scold a child for fear or sadness, so don't berate yourself. Start showing yourself the compassion and understanding you've always deserved. 2. Set boundaries with your inner critic. That critical voice in your head, the one that tells you you're not good enough or that you're going to fail, is not the voice of your true self. It's the voice of your fear, insecurity, and unresolved pain. Set boundaries with that voice. Tell it that it doesn't have the power to control you anymore. Instead, speak to yourself with encouragement and support. You are not your inner critic. 3. Give yourself the care you needed as a child. What did you need as a child that you didn't get? Was it love? Attention? Validation? Give that to yourself now. If you need more affection, start by showing affection through self-care practices or positive affirmations. If you lack guidance, become your own mentor. Make decisions with your inner child in mind, asking yourself, what would make me feel safe and loved right now? 4. Create a safe space for your emotions. Children need a safe space to express their emotions without fear of judgment or punishment. As an adult, you can create that space for yourself. When you feel sad, scared, or angry, allow yourself to experience those emotions without suppression. Honor your feelings. Don't push them away or invalidate them. By doing this, you're telling your inner child that it's okay to feel. Your emotions matter. 5. Learn to trust yourself again. Many childhood wounds stem from broken trust, whether it was a parent who didn't keep promises or an emotionally unavailable caregiver. As an adult, you may struggle with trusting yourself and others. Rebuilding that trust starts with you. Begin by keeping promises to yourself, no matter how small. If you say you will take time for self-care, follow through. If you commit to setting boundaries, enforce them. Every time you honor a commitment to yourself, you rebuild trust with your inner child. 6. Parent yourself with love, not fear. Parenting from fear creates anxiety and self-doubt. Parenting from love creates confidence and inner peace. Choose love. Instead of focusing on worst-case scenarios or what might go wrong, nurture your inner child with encouragement and support. Tell yourself that you are capable, strong, and worthy. 7. Reconnect with play and joy. One of the greatest gifts of childhood is playfulness. But as adults, we lose that sense of joy and wonder. Reparenting yourself means reconnecting with play. Do things simply because they make you happy. Dance, paint, explore nature, or try something new without worrying about being perfect or productive. Your inner child craves joy, give it to them. 8. Release the past. Healing your inner child doesn't mean erasing the past but letting go of its power over you. You can't change what happened to you, but you can change how you carry it. Release the blame, the shame, and the resentment you've been holding onto. Forgive those who hurt you, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. 9. Seek support when needed. Reparenting yourself doesn't mean you have to do everything alone. There's strength in seeking help. Whether through therapy, support groups, or trusted friends, surround yourself with people who support your healing journey. But remember, the ultimate responsibility for your healing lies with you. No one can fix your inner child for you, but they can walk alongside you as you do the work. 10. Practice patience. Healing your inner child isn't an overnight process. It takes time, effort, and consistent practice. There will be setbacks, moments of doubt, and days when you feel like giving up. But remember, you're worth the effort. Your inner child has been waiting for years to be heard, loved, and healed. Could you not give up on them? Keep showing up, keep doing the work, and trust that healing is happening, even if it's slow. How past trauma affects you now. Here's the hard truth: your past trauma doesn't stay in the past. It's not some distant memory locked away. Trauma has a way of weaving into every part of your life, your relationships, self-esteem, and decision-making. The experiences that hurt you as a child often become the patterns that haunt you as an adult. And unless you face them head-on, they will continue to shape your life. Trauma from childhood, whether it's from neglect, abuse, or emotional abandonment, changes the way your brain is wired. It creates survival mechanisms, defense strategies you developed as a child to cope with pain and fear. Maybe you learned to shut down emotionally. Perhaps you became a people pleaser to avoid conflict. Maybe you avoid close relationships because, deep down, you fear being hurt again. These coping mechanisms may have helped you survive your childhood, but they're not serving you now. In fact, they're keeping you stuck. What worked to protect you as a child is sabotaging you as an adult. The very strategies you used to survive are preventing you from living fully. If you find yourself repeating the same negative patterns, constantly pushing people away, reacting out of fear, or struggling with low self-worth, it's a sign that your childhood trauma is still influencing your present. The good news? You can change this. But it starts with awareness. You can't heal what you don't acknowledge. Recognize the ways your past trauma is showing up in your life now. Pay attention to the triggers that cause you to react defensively, the patterns that hold you back, and the limiting beliefs that keep you stuck. Ask yourself, am I acting out of old wounds? Are my reactions based on who I am today, or are they rooted in my childhood pain? The key to healing is recognizing that you're no longer that helpless child. You have the power to choose new ways of being, but only if you confront the trauma that's been controlling you for too long. Letting go of childhood patterns. The next step in healing your inner child is letting go of the patterns that no longer serve you. These patterns may have protected you in the past, but they're not helping you now. They're keeping you trapped in cycles of fear, pain, and self-sabotage. And if you want to grow, you have to break free. One of the biggest obstacles to letting go of these patterns is that they feel familiar. We cling to what we know, even if it hurts us because it feels safe. If you grew up believing you weren't good enough, it will feel comfortable to keep telling yourself that story, even though it's damaging. If you learn to suppress your emotions as a child, you'll resist opening up now because vulnerability feels dangerous. But here's the truth: you can't heal if you hold on to old beliefs and behaviors. You must be willing to release the patterns that keep you stuck. That means letting go of the need to be perfect, the fear of rejection, and the idea that you have to earn love or prove your worth. Letting go is uncomfortable, but it's necessary. It's about acknowledging that those patterns may have protected you once but no longer serve you now. You are no longer that helpless child. You can rewrite your story and choose new beliefs and behaviors that reflect who you are today, not who you were back then. So, how do you let go? It starts with awareness. Identify the patterns you've been holding onto: fear, shame, or self-doubt, and ask yourself if they're serving you. Then, consciously choose to release them. This might involve journaling, therapy, or just sitting with yourself and affirming that you no longer need these patterns to survive. Remember, letting go isn't about forgetting the past, it's about releasing its control over you. You can acknowledge your past without allowing it to dictate your future. You have the power to create new patterns, beliefs, and a new way of being aligned with your true self. Deepening the inner child connection. Healing your inner child is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing process, a lifelong relationship you cultivate with yourself. Deepening your connection with your inner child is essential as you begin to heal and let go of old patterns. This connection is what brings lasting healing, emotional freedom, and self-love. So, how do you deepen this connection? It starts with nurturing your inner child regularly. Think of it like building a relationship with someone you care about. You wouldn't ignore them for months and expect the connection to thrive. The same goes for your inner child. You must show up consistently with love, patience, and understanding. Here are some powerful ways to deepen your connection. 1. Talk to your inner child daily. You don't have to wait for a crisis to connect with your inner child. Make it a habit to check in every day. Ask yourself how you're feeling, what you need, and whether you're giving yourself the love and care you deserve. You might do this through journaling, meditation, or a few minutes of quiet reflection. When you make this a daily practice, you begin to build trust with your inner child. You show them that they are essential and that their needs matter. Over time, this strengthens the bond and allows for more profound healing. 2. Play and have fun. Your inner child craves joy, play, and creativity. One of the best ways to deepen your connection is to engage in activities that make you feel alive and happy. This might be something as simple as coloring, dancing, walking in nature, or a hobby you loved as a child. Whatever it is, the goal is to let go of seriousness and reconnect with a playful part of yourself. 3. Practice self-love. Healing your inner child requires an ongoing commitment to self-love. It's not enough to say you love yourself, you must show it. This means setting boundaries when needed, practicing self-care, and speaking to yourself with kindness and compassion. When you show up for yourself in this way, you strengthen your inner child's sense of safety and worth. 4. Acknowledge and honor your emotions. Children are naturally emotional beings, they feel deeply and express freely. But many of us learn to suppress our emotions as we grew up. To deepen your connection with your inner child, you need to honor your emotions, just as you would honor a child's feelings. If you're sad, let yourself feel miserable. If you're angry, allow that anger to surface without judgment. When you create space for your emotions, you show your inner child that it's okay to feel and that their emotions matter. 5. Create a safe inner environment. Just as children need a safe and nurturing home, your inner child needs a safe space within you. This means creating an internal environment where you feel secure, loved, and accepted. It's about being kind to yourself when you make mistakes, forgiving yourself when you fall short, and giving yourself the grace to grow and heal at your own pace. When you treat yourself compassionately, your inner child feels safe to open up, heal, and thrive. They begin to trust that you will take care of them, and that trust leads to more profound healing. 6. Heal through meditation and visualization. Meditation and visualization are powerful tools for connecting with your inner child. Through these practices, you can meet your inner child in a safe, loving space and offer them the healing they need. Imagine yourself as the adult you are now, comforting and nurturing your inner child. Tell them they are safe, loved, and worthy of happiness. Regularly visualizing this connection helps to reinforce the bond between your adult self and your inner child. It reminds you that no matter what happened in the past, you can heal and create a new future. 7. Celebrate your growth. Healing is not just about addressing pain, it's also about celebrating progress. Every step you take toward healing your inner child is worth celebrating. Whether it's setting a boundary, letting go of an old pattern, or taking time to nurture yourself, acknowledge your progress. Your inner child must know they are growing, healing, and thriving. Celebrate every victory, no matter how small. Healing your inner child is an ongoing journey that requires patience, love, and commitment. The more you deepen your connection with your inner child, the more you experience emotional freedom, self-love, and inner peace. But remember, this isn't a quick fix. Healing takes time. Letting go of childhood patterns takes practice. Building a strong connection with your inner child requires consistent effort. But the rewards are worth it. Chapter 3, Discovering Who You Truly Are. Who are you? Really think about that question for a second. Are you the person you were born to be, or are you a product of your conditioning? Most people live their entire lives without ever genuinely discovering who they are. They live according to other people's expectations, societal pressures, and the stories they've been told since childhood. To find out who you are, you must first strip away these layers of conditioning that have clouded your identity. Conditioning starts early. From the moment you're born, you are shaped by your environment. Your family, culture, education, and experiences all imprint on who you become. The problem is that these layers of conditioning can bury your true self. The expectations of who you should be often overshadow who you really are. Think about it, how many decisions have been driven by what others expect from you? How much of your identity has been shaped by societal norms? You've been told what's acceptable, what's successful, and what's normal. But have you ever questioned if those things align with your true self? To discover who you are, you must confront these conditioning layers and ask yourself tough questions. What beliefs and behaviors have I adopted from others? What parts of myself have I hidden to fit in or be accepted? Peeling back these layers is uncomfortable but necessary. You may find that you've been living someone else's life, doing what you think you should do rather than what you truly desire. This process requires brutal honesty and courage, but it's the only way to uncover who you were always meant to be. Here's the bottom line: to find yourself, you must unlearn everything that isn't truly you. Start questioning the beliefs and behaviors that you've adopted unconsciously. Are they serving you, or are they holding you back? It's time to let go of the conditioning that no longer aligns with who you want to be. True self versus ego. A major obstacle to discovering your true self is the ego. The ego is the mask you wear to protect yourself. It's the part of you that craves validation, approval, and external success. The ego is driven by fear, insecurity, and the need to prove itself to the world. And while it may feel powerful, the ego is not who you are. Your true self, on the other hand, is authentic, grounded, and accessible. It doesn't need external validation because it knows its worth. The true self is rooted in inner peace and self-acceptance, while the ego is constantly chasing more success, recognition, success, and approval. One of the biggest challenges in personal growth is learning to separate your true self from your ego. The ego loves to run the show. It thrives on the idea that your value is determined by external factors, your job title, social status, and appearance. But your true self doesn't care about any of that. It's focused on your inner fulfillment, not external success. How do you know when you act from your ego versus your true self? The ego feels frantic, insecure, and constantly unsatisfied. No matter what you achieve, it's never enough. The true self, on the other hand, feels calm and centered. It knows that you are enough just as you are. Start paying attention to when your ego is driving your decisions. Are you making choices based on what will make you look good or what will truly fulfill you? The ego will push you to chase achievements that look impressive but leave you feeling empty. Your true self will guide you toward what truly brings you joy, even if it doesn't come with external rewards. True freedom comes when you stop letting your ego control your life and start living from your true self. This isn't about rejecting success or ambition. It's about making sure your pursuits align with your authentic desires, not just your ego's need for approval. Exploring your beliefs. To discover who you are, you must be clear about your beliefs. Many of the beliefs you hold today aren't even your own, they've been passed down from your family, society, and culture. You've been taught what's right, what's wrong, what's possible, and what's not. But have you ever stopped to question whether those beliefs align with your true self? Start by exploring your beliefs about yourself. Do you believe you're worthy of happiness, success, and love? Or do you have to earn those things through hard work, sacrifice, and suffering? These beliefs shape your entire life. If they do not align with your true self, they will keep you stuck. Next, look at your beliefs about the world. Do you believe the world is a place of abundance or scarcity? Do you think life is a struggle or a journey of growth? These beliefs influence how you appear in the world and what you want to pursue. It's time to challenge the beliefs that aren't serving you. Just because you've believed something your whole life doesn't mean it's true. Ask yourself where those beliefs came from. Did they come from your parents, your teachers, or society? Or did they come from your own experiences and inner wisdom? Exploring your beliefs requires deep introspection. It's about becoming aware of the subconscious stories that have been running your life. Once you identify those stories, you can choose to rewrite them. You can select beliefs that empower you rather than limit you. One powerful way to explore your beliefs is through journaling. Write down your beliefs about yourself, others, and the world. Then, ask yourself if those beliefs align with who you truly are. If they don't, it's time to let them go. Beliefs are not facts. They are stories we tell ourselves to make sense of the world. And the beautiful thing about stories is that they can be rewritten. If your beliefs keep you trim, it's time to create new ones that allow you to step into your true power. Letting go of the need for approval. One of the most significant barriers to discovering who you are is the need for approval. From a young age, we are conditioned to seek validation from others, our parents, teachers, and peers. We learn that our worth is tied to how well we perform, how much we achieve, and how others perceive us. But here's the hard truth: as long as you're chasing approval from others, you'll never be able to fully discover who you are. You'll need more time to mold yourself into someone else's idea of success, happiness, or worth. And in the process, you'll lose touch with your true desires and passions. Letting go of the need for approval is one of the most liberating things you can do. It frees you from the constant pressure to meet other people's expectations and allows you to focus on what truly matters to you. Stop worrying about what others think, you can start living authentically. But letting go of approval seeking is easier said than done. It requires confronting your fears of rejection and failure and trusting that your worth isn't dependent on external validation but is inherent within you. So, how do you start letting go of the need for approval? Begin by recognizing when you're seeking validation. Pay attention to when you're making decisions based on what will impress others rather than what feels suitable for you. Then, ask yourself, what would I do if I didn't care what anyone else thought? This simple question can help you reconnect with your true self and choose from a place of authenticity. Remember, your true self doesn't need approval. It knows that you are enough, just as you are. The more you tap into that inner knowing, the less you'll rely on external validation to feel good about yourself. Aligning with your true self. Once you've peeled back the layers of conditioning, separated your ego from your true self, and explored your beliefs, it's time to align your life with who you are. This is where the fundamental transformation happens. It's not enough to discover who you are, you must start living in alignment with that truth. Living in alignment means making choices that reflect your authentic self, not the person you've been conditioned to be. It means following your path, even if it goes against societal norms or other people's expectations. It means saying no to what doesn't serve you and saying yes to what lights you up. But living in alignment also requires courage. It's not easy to go against the grain, to make choices that others might not understand or approve of. But the alternative, living a life that isn't true to who you are, is far more painful. To align with your true self, you must be willing to let go of what no longer serves you. This might mean letting go of relationships, careers, or habits that keep you stuck. It might mean stepping out of your comfort zone and taking risks. But every step you take toward alignment brings you closer to the life you were meant to live. Your true self is waiting for you to step into your power. It's time to stop hiding, conforming, and settling for less than you deserve. The world needs the real you, your authentic, bold, and empowered version. So, start aligning your life with your true self today. It's time to discover who you are and live in a way that reflects your deepest desires and values. Accepting flaws and strengths. One of the biggest hurdles to discovering your true self is the unwillingness to face your flaws and strengths. Accurate self-awareness means embracing all parts of yourself, the good, the bad, and the uncomfortable. Many people are quick to acknowledge their weaknesses, but they shy away from their strengths. Others only focus on their good traits and avoid looking at their flaws. But if you want to discover who you are, you must do both. First, let's talk about flaws. We all have them, and ignoring them doesn't make them disappear. Instead of avoiding or feeling ashamed of your flaws, embrace them as part of your humanity. Recognizing your imperfections isn't a weakness, it's the first step toward growth. You can't improve what you refuse to acknowledge. So, get honest with yourself. What areas do you struggle with? What are your recurring mistakes? Accepting your flaws isn't about being hard on yourself. It's about owning them without letting them define you. Once you acknowledge your flaws, you can take action to grow from them. Maybe you struggle with self-doubt, procrastination, or fear of failure. Instead of letting these flaws control your life, recognize them for what they are, areas that need attention and growth. You are not your flaws. They are just parts of you that can be worked on. But don't stop there. You also need to acknowledge and accept your strengths. For many people, this is even harder than accepting their flaws. Society often teaches us that being proud of our strengths is arrogant or self-centered. But there's nothing wrong with recognizing what you're good at. In fact, it's essential. Your strengths are the key to discovering your true self. They are the gift you bring to the world. When you downplay your strengths, you're not doing yourself, or anyone else, any favors. If you've been conditioned to believe humility means ignoring your talents, it's time to break that pattern. Humility doesn't mean pretending you're less capable than you are. True humility is acknowledging both your weaknesses and your strengths with honesty. So, what are your strengths? What comes naturally to you? What are you good at that others struggle with? These parts of you deserve to be celebrated, nurtured, and shared with the world. Don't shy away from your brilliance. Embrace it. Your strengths are a core part of your true self. The more you own them, the more aligned you'll feel with who you are. Aligning life with your true self. Once you've peeled back the layers of conditioning and accepted your flaws and strengths, the next step is aligning your life with your true self. This is where fundamental transformation happens. It's not enough to discover who you are, you must start living in a way that reflects that truth. Alignment means that your actions, decisions, and lifestyle match your authentic self. It means letting go of anything that doesn't serve the person you indeed are. For many, this is the most challenging part because it often requires making complex changes that may disrupt your routine, relationships, or even your career. But here's the truth: you cannot live an authentic life if your choices are out of alignment with who you really are. You'll always feel disconnected if you're pretending to be someone you're not or living by other people's expectations. You'll always feel like something is missing because you're not being true to yourself. So, how do you begin aligning your life with your true self? Start by evaluating where you are now. Look at every area of your life, your relationships, career, daily habits, and goals. Ask yourself, is this in alignment with who I truly am? If the answer is no, it's time to make changes. 1. Relationships. Are you surrounded by people who support and nurture your true self, or are you stuck in relationships that drain or force you to be someone you're not? Aligning with your true self means surrounding yourself with people who love and accept you for who you are, flaws and all. If certain relationships are toxic, one-sided, or based on who you used to be, it might be time to reevaluate them. You deserve relationships that encourage your growth, not stifle it. 2. Career. Are you doing work that aligns with your passions and strengths, or are you stuck in a job that doesn't fulfill you? Living in alignment with your true self means pursuing work that resonates with your values and skills. This doesn't mean you have to quit your job tomorrow, but you should start thinking about how to shift toward meaningful and authentic work. Maybe it's a slight pivot or a significant career change, but whatever it is, the goal is to do work that reflects who you are. 3. Daily habits. Look at how you spend your time each day. Are your daily habits supporting your true self or keeping you stuck in patterns that no longer serve you? If your authentic self values health, creativity, or personal growth, are you making time for those things? Aligning with your true self requires discipline. It's about making daily choices that reflect who you are and what you value. 4. Goals and dreams. Finally, look at your long-term goals. Are they indeed yours, or are they based on what others expect from you? Often, people chase goals that don't actually align with their true selves because they think those goals will bring them approval or success. But if your goals resonate with who you are at your core, they will feel full, no matter how much you achieve. The key to living in alignment is to listen to your inner voice, not the voices of others. Your true self already knows what you want and need. The problem is that we often drown out that voice with noise, distractions, and fear. You must trust that inner voice to align your life with your true self. You must stop second-guessing yourself and start making decisions that feel right in your gut, even if they don't make sense to anyone else. The power of alignment. When you start aligning your life with your true self, everything changes. You stop feeling disconnected, lost, or unfulfilled. You start living with purpose, clarity, and confidence because your life finally reflects who you are. You're no longer trying to fit into someone else's mold. You're no longer pretending to be someone you're not. You're living in complete alignment with your true self, and that's where absolute freedom lies. But alignment doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, and it requires ongoing commitment. You'll have to make tough decisions along the way. You'll have to let go of things that no longer serve you, even if they're comfortable. But the reward is worth it. The more you align with your true self, the more fulfilled, empowered, and at peace you'll feel. Don't settle for a life that isn't yours. Don't waste your potential by living according to other people's expectations. Start aligning your life with your true self today. It's the most powerful thing you can do for your happiness, success, and well-being. Chapter 4: Embracing the Power of Silence. Silence has become a rare and undervalued gift in a world that thrives on noise, chaos, and constant stimulation. Yet, within silence lies immense power, the power to heal, transform, and deepen one's connection with oneself. Learning to embrace silence unlocks new levels of emotional awareness, clarity, and inner peace. Silence isn't an absence, it's a presence that allows one to hear the deepest parts of oneself. Listening to inner thoughts. Most of us spend our days drowning in distractions, phones, conversations, media, and endless to-do lists. We rarely take the time to truly listen to our inner thoughts. But here's the truth: If you want to connect with yourself, you must be able to listen to what's happening in your mind. When was the last time you sat in complete silence and listened to your thoughts? Your mind is constantly processing emotions, fears, desires, and ideas, but without silence, you miss the messages it's trying to send you. In the noise of daily life, it's easy to push aside your inner voice in favor of external input. But your inner voice holds the key to your true self. It's always speaking and guiding, but often drowned out by the chaos around you. Listening to your inner thoughts in silence requires intention. It's not just about sitting quietly, it's about creating a space to observe your thoughts without judgment. This practice lets you see what drives your emotions and behaviors. Are you acting from a place of fear or love? Are your decisions being influenced by external pressures or by your inner desires? Start by setting aside time each day to sit in silence, even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes. Let your thoughts flow freely without trying to control or suppress them. You might be surprised at what comes up when you give your mind the space to speak. By doing this regularly, you'll begin to notice patterns, recurring thoughts that reveal deeper truths about your emotions, beliefs, and desires. Silence is a mirror, reflecting your inner world back to you. The more you listen, the more you understand what's happening beneath the surface. Silence for emotional awareness. Silence doesn't just give you the chance to listen to your thoughts but provides a space to understand and process your emotions. Emotional awareness is the ability to recognize and understand your feelings. Silence is one of the most powerful tools for developing this skill. When constantly distracted, it's easy to ignore or react to your emotions without understanding their origin. In silence, you can sit with your feelings, observe them without judgment, and understand what they're trying to tell you. Emotions are signals. They arise for a reason, but if you never take the time to sit in stillness, you'll miss the message they're sending. Often, we avoid silence because we're afraid of facing our emotions. We fear what might come up if we sit in stillness, so we stay busy to avoid the discomfort. But avoiding your emotions only makes them more powerful. When you ignore your feelings, they build up and come out in ways you can't control, whether it's through anger, anxiety, or self-sabotage. Silence forces you to confront your emotions head-on, but this confrontation is not something to fear. In fact, you begin to heal through facing your feelings. When you allow yourself to sit in silence and feel whatever arises, you give your emotions the space to move through you. You start to understand the root causes of your feelings, and from this place of understanding, you can begin to let go of what no longer serves you. Emotional awareness in silence is a form of self-compassion. It's about giving yourself the time and space to feel without judgment. Instead of pushing your emotions away, you invite them in, listen to them, and learn from them. Over time, this practice deepens your emotional intelligence and allows you to respond to life's challenges more gracefully and clearly. Clarity in stillness. In the constant noise of life, clarity often feels out of reach. When you're overwhelmed by external input, other people's opinions, endless tasks, societal expectations, it's hard to see what's truly important. You get lost in the noise, confused about what direction to take or what decisions to make. This is where silence becomes a powerful tool. Stillness brings clarity. When you remove distractions and allow yourself space to be, you allow your mind to settle. It's like watching a muddy river clear up when the sediment falls to the bottom. In silence, your thoughts can slow down, and the chaos begins to fade. What remains is clarity about what matters, what you truly want, and what needs to change in your life. Clarity doesn't come from doing more but from creating space for stillness. The more time you spend in silence, the easier it becomes to see through the noise and focus on what's truly important. Whether you're facing a difficult decision, feeling stuck, or unsure of your next step, silence can provide the clarity you need. But here's the thing, clarity sometimes takes time to come. You have to be patient with the process. Silence is not a quick fix, but the more you practice it, the more clarity you will find over time. Each moment of stillness brings you closer to understanding your true desires, path, and self. If you want clarity in your life, make silence a priority. Set aside time each day to sit in stillness, even if it's just for a few minutes. You'll be amazed at how much clearer your mind becomes when you give it space to breathe. Deepening self-connection in silence. The most profound gift of silence is how it deepens one's connection with oneself. In the noise of daily life, it's easy to lose sight of who one is. You get caught up in roles, responsibilities, and external expectations, and before you know it, you've disconnected from your inner self. But when you embrace silence, you create a space to reconnect. In silence, you can strip away the layers of noise, expectation, and distraction and return to the essence of who you are. This is where you meet your true self, the part of you that exists beneath the surface, untouched by external influence. The more time you spend in silence, the deeper this connection becomes. You begin to see yourself more clearly, without the filters of fear or societal pressure. You start to understand your true desires, your true values, and your true nature. This deepening connection with yourself is transformative. It allows you to live more authentically, make decisions that align with your inner truth, and cultivate a sense of peace that comes from within. Silence is not just about quieting the mind, it's about creating a space to listen to your soul. It's about giving yourself the time to reflect, feel, and reconnect with the part of you often drowned out by the chaos of the outside world. This deepening self-connection is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing practice, a relationship you cultivate with yourself over time. Like any relationship, the more time and attention you give it, the stronger it becomes. The more you embrace silence, the more connected you feel to your inner self and the more grounded you'll become in who you are. Creating a silence practice. So, how do you begin embracing silence in your life? It's not as complicated as you might think. You don't need hours of meditation or a silent retreat to experience the power of silence. Start small. Set aside 5 or 10 minutes each day to sit in stillness without distractions. This could be in the morning before the day begins or in the evening as a way to unwind. The key is to make it a regular practice. During these moments of silence, observe. Don't control your thoughts or force yourself to feel a certain way. Let your mind wander if it wants to, and listen. Pay attention to the thoughts, emotions, and sensations that arise. Over time, this practice will become more natural, and you'll begin to crave these moments of stillness as a way to reconnect with yourself. If sitting in silence feels uncomfortable at first, that's okay. Most of us are so used to constant noise and distraction that silence can feel unsettling. But discomfort is part of the process. It's a sign that you're stepping outside your comfort zone and into a growth space. The more you practice, the more comfortable you'll become with silence, and the more benefits you'll experience. Silence offers a powerful counterbalance in a world constantly telling you to do more, be more, and achieve more. It reminds you that you don't need to fill every moment with activity or noise to find value. In fact, it's in the moments of stillness that you discover your true self. Silence allows you to listen to your inner thoughts, deepen your emotional awareness, and gain clarity about what matters. It will enable you to reconnect with yourself deeper and live a life aligned with your inner truth. However, embracing silence requires intention and commitment. It's not always easy, and it may feel uncomfortable at first. But the rewards are worth it. The more you practice silence, the more peace, clarity, and self-awareness you'll experience. So, start today. Give yourself the gift of silence. Create space in your life for stillness, and watch as it transforms your relationship with yourself and your entire approach to life. Chapter 5: Enjoying Your Own Company. We often consider company something we seek from others, but what about enjoying your company? This chapter is about mastering the art of being your best companion, learning to find fulfillment, joy, and peace in solitude without relying on external validation or companionship. Enjoying your own company is more than a skill, it's a way of life that can transform your self-esteem, relationships, and overall happiness. Becoming your own companion. It's time to shift your mindset. Stop thinking of being alone as a problem that needs fixing. Start seeing it as an opportunity to build the most important relationship you'll ever have, the one with yourself. Society often conditions us to believe that being alone is a weakness, something to avoid at all costs. But the truth is, being comfortable in your own presence is a strength. When you become your companion, you realize you don't need to depend on others to fill your emotional gaps. You become self-sufficient, emotionally intense, and grounded. It doesn't mean you don't value relationships with others, it means you value yourself enough to enjoy being alone without feeling lonely. Being your own companion means spending time with yourself intentionally. It's about getting to know yourself on a deeper level. Ask yourself the same questions you'd ask a close friend: what do I really want in life? What makes me happy? What are my dreams? When you spend quality time with yourself, you can reflect on these questions, uncovering the answers that guide your life. Don't wait for external circumstances to align or for others to entertain you. Make time for yourself as you would for anyone important in your life. Plan activities that bring you joy, whether it's reading, cooking, hiking, or simply sitting in a quiet space with your thoughts. The more you become your companion, the more you realize that your company is enough. You begin to enjoy your presence and cultivate a deep self-fulfillment. Solitude and self-esteem. Solitude is the key to building self-esteem. When you rely too much on others for validation, you lose the ability to see your worth. Being alone gives you the space to reconnect with your inner value. It helps you learn to trust, love, and respect yourself without needing anyone else to tell you that you're worthy. Many people seek approval from others because they don't feel confident in their opinions, decisions, or self-worth. But when you regularly spend time alone, you build a sense of inner security. You start to realize that your thoughts, your opinions, and your needs matter. You no longer need constant external validation to feel good about yourself. Solitude helps you reflect on your achievements, strengths, and growth. In these moments of quiet, you recognize your resilience and capabilities. When you detach from the need for others' approval, you find an unshakable source of self-esteem that comes from within. The more time you spend alone, the more you cultivate self-acceptance. You learn to appreciate yourself, flaws and all, and your self-esteem grows not from what others think of you, but from what you know about yourself. Solitude gives you the chance to redefine your worth on your own terms. It allows you to confront your insecurities, work through them, and become more assertive on the other side. When you enjoy your company, your self-esteem is no longer tied to external factors. You start to realize that your worth is intrinsic, it's not something that anyone else can give or take away. This realization builds a rock-solid foundation of self-esteem that can carry you through life's ups and downs with confidence and resilience. Building a relationship with yourself. Most people spend more time investing in relationships with others than they do in their relationship with themselves. But your relationship with yourself is the foundation for every other relationship. If you don't take the time to nurture it, you'll find yourself constantly seeking something outside of yourself to fill the void. Building a relationship starts with one simple truth: you are with yourself for life. No matter who comes and goes or what changes around you, the one constant is you. So, why not make that relationship the best it can be? To build a strong relationship with yourself, you must learn to treat yourself with the same kindness, patience, and love that you offer to others. It's about showing up for yourself every day, even when things are tough. It's about forgiving yourself when you make mistakes and celebrating yourself when you achieve something, no matter how small. Take time to check in with yourself regularly. How are you feeling? What do you need? Listen to yourself as you would a friend in need. When you care for your emotional, mental, and physical needs, you build trust with yourself. You begin to trust that you will be there for yourself no matter what. This trust is the foundation of self-love and inner strength. It's also essential to get to know yourself on a deeper level. Spend time reflecting on your values, passions, fears, and dreams. The more you understand yourself, the more aligned your life becomes with your true self. This self-awareness leads to better decisions, healthier relationships, and greater fulfillment. A healthy relationship with yourself is the cornerstone of a happy, balanced life. It's not about being selfish, it's about honoring your needs so you can show up fully in the world. The stronger your relationship with yourself, the more you can give to others from a place of abundance rather than need. Becoming your own happiness. One of the biggest misconceptions is that happiness comes from external sources, other people, achievements, or material possessions. But the truth is, happiness is an inside job. You cannot rely on others to make you happy. If you do, you'll constantly chase something that can never be fully satisfied. Becoming your own happiness means learning to find joy and fulfillment within yourself. It means realizing that you have everything you need to be happy right here, right now. When you become your own source of happiness, you no longer depend on external circumstances to feel good about life. How do you cultivate this inner happiness? Start by recognizing that happiness is a choice. It's not something that happens to you, it's something you create from within. You can focus on the positive aspects of your life, practice gratitude, and find joy in the simple things. You can choose to let go of the things you cannot control and to find peace in the present moment. Being alone gives you the perfect opportunity to practice this. In solitude, you can learn to find happiness in your own company. You can take time to do the things that make you happy, whether reading a book, enjoying nature, or engaging in a creative hobby. When you take responsibility for your own happiness, you empower yourself. You stop waiting for others to make you happy and start creating happiness on your own terms. This doesn't mean you don't value relationships or experiences with others. It means you don't rely on them to feel whole. When you find happiness within yourself, your relationships become healthier because you're not depending on others to fill a void. Instead, you bring joy to the table, making every connection stronger and more meaningful. Becoming your own happiness also means accepting that life won't always be perfect, and that's okay. Happiness isn't about constant joy or avoiding challenges, it's about cultivating peace and contentment, even in difficult times. When you have a strong relationship with yourself and know how to create your own happiness, you can navigate life's challenges with resilience and grace. Enjoying your own company is more than just being alone, it's about thriving in solitude. It's about becoming your own companion, building your self-esteem, and creating a deep, loving relationship with yourself. When you enjoy your own company, you unlock emotional independence that sets you free from the need for external validation. You begin to realize that you are enough, just as you are. You don't need anyone else to complete you because you are already whole. This realization is the foundation of true self-love and inner peace. By becoming your own happiness, you take control of your emotional well-being. You stop relying on others to make you feel good and start creating joy from within. This inner strength radiates outwards, improving every area of your life, from your relationships to your career and personal growth. Chapter 6: Unleashing Creativity in Solitude. Creativity doesn't thrive in chaos, it blooms in moments of stillness, where the mind can wander, explore, and dream without distraction. Solitude isn't just about being alone, it's about creating the mental and emotional space to access the deepest parts of your mind. It's about tapping into your creative potential, not by forcing it, but by allowing it to flow naturally in the quiet moments you give yourself. In a world of constant noise and distraction, we often forget the power of solitude. Yet, solitude is the birthplace of creativity. In those quiet moments, free from external input, you can genuinely listen to your inner voice and access the ideas, insights, and inspiration waiting to be discovered. Solitude sparks creativity. Many people believe that creativity happens spontaneously or that it's a gift only certain individuals possess. But the truth is, creativity lives inside all of us, it just needs the right conditions to emerge. One of the most important conditions is solitude. When constantly surrounded by people, noise, and distractions, your mind has no space to wander freely. Creativity thrives on stillness, on quiet moments where your thoughts can take shape without interruption. In solitude, you allow your mind to rest, recharge, and explore new ideas. Think about it, how often do your best ideas come when you're alone? It could be during a long walk, showering, or lying in bed at night. These are moments of solitude where your mind can wander and explore. You're not focused on external distractions or trying to meet anyone else's expectations, you're simply letting your thoughts flow. The more time you spend in solitude, the more you tap into your creative potential. It's not about forcing ideas to come but about creating the space for them to emerge naturally. Creativity is a discovery process, and solitude is the environment where that discovery can happen. Accessing deep ideas alone. Solitude doesn't just spark creativity but allows you to access more profound ideas that may be buried beneath the surface. In the constant rush of daily life, your mind is often too cluttered to reach the deep, insightful thoughts within you. But when you slow down and embrace solitude, you open the door to a new level of creative thinking. When you're alone, you're not influenced by the opinions or expectations of others. You're free to explore ideas that are uniquely yours. This is where true creativity happens, not in the pursuit of external approval, but in the quiet moments when you allow yourself to think deeply, reflect, and create from a place of authenticity. Profound ideas come from something other than shallow thinking. They require space, time, and patience to emerge. When you give yourself the gift of solitude, you create the conditions for these profound ideas to rise to the surface. Whether working on a creative project, solving a problem, or simply reflecting on life, solitude allows you to dive deeper into your thoughts and uncover insights you wouldn't otherwise reach. But accessing profound ideas alone isn't just about sitting quietly and waiting for inspiration to strike. It's about actively engaging with your thoughts to encourage deeper exploration. This might mean journaling, meditating, or simply allowing yourself to daydream. Whatever method you choose, the goal is to create a space where your mind can wander freely without judgment or distraction. Profound ideas are already within you, you just need to create the space for them to emerge. Solitude provides that space, allowing you to tap into the creative potential beneath the surface of your everyday thoughts. Creating alone time rituals. To truly unleash your creativity in solitude, you must practice it regularly. Creativity isn't something that happens by accident, it's something that you cultivate through intentional habits. One of the most potent ways to do this is by creating alone time rituals. Alone time rituals are intentional practices that create space for solitude and creativity in your daily life. These rituals don't need to be complicated, but they should be consistent. The key is to make solitude a non-negotiable part of your routine, just as you would with any other important aspect of your life. Here are a few examples of alone time rituals that can help you tap into your creative potential. Morning reflection. Start your day with 15 to 30 minutes of quiet reflection. Use this time to journal, meditate, or simply silence and let your thoughts flow. By starting your day with a moment of solitude, you set the tone for a more creative and focused day ahead. Nature walks. Spend time walking in nature without distractions. Leave your phone behind and let yourself connect with the natural world. Walking in solitude is a powerful way to clear your mind, spark new ideas, and gain fresh perspectives on whatever you're working on. Creative hour. Set aside a specific time each day for creative work. During this time, focus solely on your creative projects without interruptions. Whether writing, painting, brainstorming, or problem solving, the goal is to dedicate uninterrupted time to your creativity in solitude. Evening unwind. End your day with a period of quiet reflection or meditation. Use this time to reflect on your day, release stress, and prepare your mind for rest. The stillness of the evening is a perfect time to let go of distractions and reconnect with your inner thoughts. The beauty of these rituals is that they create consistency in your solitude practice. The more you engage in alone time rituals, the more your mind associates these moments with creativity, clarity, and deep thinking. Over time, you'll find that these rituals become essential to your creative process, providing the space and stillness you need to access your best ideas. Creating a personal creative space. In addition to creating rituals, having a physical space supporting your creativity is essential. Your environment significantly influences your ability to focus, think deeply, and access your creative potential. Creating a personal creative space is about designing an environment that nurtures creativity and encourages solitude. Your creative space doesn't need to be elaborate or extensive, it just needs to be where you feel comfortable, focused, and free from distractions. This space is a sanctuary for your thoughts, where you can retreat to engage with your creativity without interruption. Here are some tips for creating a personal creative space. Choose a quiet spot. Find a space where you can be alone and free from distractions. Whether it's a corner of your home, a dedicated room, or even a spot in nature, the key is to have a place to escape the outside world's noise. This quiet space will become your go-to spot for creative work and reflection. Make it comfortable. Your creative space should be a place where you feel relaxed and comfortable. This doesn't mean it needs to be luxurious, but it should be comfortable. Consider adding comfortable seating, soft lighting, or anything else that helps you settle into a focused, creative mindset. Keep it simple. Clutter can be a significant distraction when trying to focus on creative work. Keep your creative space simple and uncluttered with only the necessary tools and materials. A clear, organized space will help you think more clearly and engage more deeply with your ideas. Incorporate inspiration. Surround yourself with things that inspire you. These could be books, artwork, plants, or objects that spark your creativity. Having these items in your creative space can serve as gentle reminders of what motivates and inspires you to create. Set boundaries. Setting boundaries around your creative space is essential once you've created your personal creative space. Let others know that you're not to be disturbed when you're in it. This space is sacred, it's where you engage with your creativity, and it deserves to be protected from interruptions. Creating a personal creative space isn't just about having a physical location to work, it's about creating an environment that supports your creative mindset. When you have a dedicated space for solitude and creativity, you're more likely to take the time to engage with your ideas on a deeper level. The power of consistency. At the heart of unleashing creativity in solitude is consistency. Solitude and creativity are not one-time events, they are practices that require regular attention. The more you engage with solitude, the more your creativity will flourish. The more consistent you are with your alone time rituals and creative space, the more ideas will flow naturally. But consistency doesn't mean forcing creativity to happen on a strict schedule. It means creating the conditions that allow creativity to emerge naturally. By consistently making space for solitude in your life, you give your mind the freedom to explore, dream, and create without pressure. Creativity is something that can be done without being forced or rushed. It's a process that unfolds over time, and solitude provides the ideal environment. The more you honor your need for quiet, focused time, the more your creative potential will reveal itself. Solitude is not just a break from the noise, it's a powerful tool for accessing your most profound ideas, insights, and creative potential. When you embrace solitude, you create the mental and emotional space for creativity to thrive. By making solitude a regular part of your life, creating alone time rituals, and designing a personal creative space, you'll find that creativity flows more freely and deeply than ever before. You'll discover ideas you didn't know you had and unlock levels of creative thinking that were previously out of reach. The key is to trust the process. Creativity thrives in stillness. The more you engage with solitude, the more your creative potential will unfold. So, make space for yourself and honor your need for quiet. Chapter 7, Deepening Your Spiritual Connection. Spiritual connection is something other than something reserved for religious experiences or meditation retreats. It's a profoundly personal, everyday practice that allows you to tap into a higher awareness and purpose. Whether you define spirituality as connecting with the universe, your inner self, or a higher power, deepening your spiritual connection can profoundly transform your life. It gives you the strength to navigate challenges, the wisdom to make decisions, and the confidence to live in alignment with your true self. This chapter explores how solitude and self-reliance are critical to spiritual growth. It's about developing trust in yourself, building self-confidence, and becoming emotionally intense. These qualities are necessary for personal success and for living a spiritually aligned and fulfilled life. Trusting your decisions. One of the most critical aspects of deepening your spiritual connection is learning to trust your own decisions. You already have the answers you need within you, but fear and self-doubt often cloud your judgment. Trusting yourself means believing in your ability to make the right choices, even when the path ahead is unclear. Here's the reality: life is entirely of uncertainty. You will never have all the information you need, and there will never be a perfect moment to act. Trusting your decisions is about knowing you can handle whatever comes next, regardless of the outcome. It's about letting go of the need for external validation and tuning into your inner voice, which always knows what's best for you. How do you begin trusting your decisions? Start by making small choices on your own without seeking advice or approval from others. Whether choosing how to spend your free time or committing to a new goal, these small decisions build the self-trust muscle. Over time, you'll feel more confident making bigger, life-altering decisions because you've practiced trusting yourself in everyday situations. Remember, indecision is worse than making the wrong choice. When you hesitate, you get stuck, but when you act, you grow, even if things don't turn out as expected. Trust that you have the strength to face whatever challenges arise, and you'll start to make decisions from a place of confidence rather than fear. Building self-confidence. Self-confidence doesn't come from achieving external success but from trusting yourself and your abilities. It's about believing that you are enough as you are, regardless of what you've accomplished. When you build self-confidence, you develop the resilience to face life's challenges head-on because you trust in your ability to navigate them. Many people struggle with self-confidence because they base their worth on external factors, job titles, relationships, or material success. But absolute confidence comes from within. It's the inner knowing that you are capable, worthy, and deserving, no matter the external circumstances. If you want to deepen your spiritual connection, you need to start building self-confidence from the inside out. This means letting go of the need for external approval and learning to validate yourself. It means recognizing your strengths and talents, even if no one acknowledges them. The more you believe in yourself, the stronger your spiritual connection becomes because you're living from a place of inner strength rather than seeking validation from the outside world. Start by celebrating your successes, no matter how small they may seem. Each time you accomplish something, take a moment to acknowledge your effort and progress. Don't wait for others to recognize your achievements, celebrate yourself. The more you do this, the more your confidence will grow. Self-confidence also requires a willingness to take risks. You cannot build confidence if you're always playing it safe. Step outside your comfort zone, try new things, and push yourself beyond what you think is possible. Each time you take a risk, you prove to yourself that you are stronger and more capable than you thought. This builds unshakable confidence that no external circumstance can take away. Taking responsibility for your life. Here's a hard truth: you are responsible for your life. No one else can create the life you want, make the decisions, take the actions, or face the consequences for you. Taking full responsibility for your life is one of the most empowering steps on your spiritual journey. Many people go through life blaming others for their circumstances, whether it's their upbringing, their job, or their relationships. But blaming others keeps you stuck. When you place the responsibility for your life in someone else's hands, you give away your power to change it. Taking responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself for everything that's gone wrong. It means acknowledging that, while you may not have control over everything that happens, you have control over how you respond. You have the power to choose your thoughts, actions, and attitude. And when you take full ownership of your life, you open yourself up to endless possibilities for growth and transformation. Start by taking an honest look at your life. Where are you blaming others or making excuses? Where are you waiting for someone else to fix things or decide for you? Once you identify these areas, commit to taking full responsibility for them. This might mean making complex changes, setting boundaries, or taking bold action, but it's the only way to truly live in alignment with your spiritual self. Taking responsibility for your life also means letting go of the victim mentality. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking life is happening to you rather than for you. But when you adopt a victim mindset, you block yourself from growth. You give away your power to create the life you want. Instead, shift your perspective. See every challenge as an opportunity for growth, every setback as a lesson, and every failure as a stepping stone to success. When you take responsibility for your life, you reclaim your power and open yourself up to the infinite potential that lies within you. Becoming emotionally strong. Emotional strength is not about suppressing your feelings or pretending everything is okay. It's about developing the resilience to face difficult emotions head on, process them, and come out stronger on the other side. Emotional strength is essential to deepening your spiritual connection because it allows you to stay grounded and centered, even in the face of life's challenges. Many people struggle with emotional strength because they've been taught to avoid or suppress their feelings. But avoiding your emotions only makes them more powerful. When you suppress your feelings, they don't disappear, they build up and eventually come out in ways that can harm you or your relationships. Becoming emotionally intense means learning to sit with your feelings, no matter how uncomfortable. It means allowing yourself to feel sadness, anger, fear, or disappointment without judgment. Instead of running from these emotions, you confront them, process them, and then let them go. This process takes courage but is essential for emotional growth and resilience. To build emotional strength, start by practicing mindfulness. When difficult emotions arise, take a moment to pause and acknowledge what you're feeling. Don't try to push the emotion away or distract yourself from it. Instead, sit with it, breathe through it, and allow it to be there without resistance. The more you practice this, the more comfortable you'll become with your emotions and the stronger you'll become emotionally. Emotional strength also requires self-compassion. Be kind to yourself when you're going through difficult times. Acknowledge that it's okay to feel vulnerable, to make mistakes, and to struggle. The more compassion you show yourself, the more resilient you'll become in emotional challenges. The path to inner strength and spiritual growth. Deepening your spiritual connection requires inner strength, the strength to trust your decisions, believe in yourself, take responsibility for your life, and navigate your emotions with grace. These qualities aren't just about personal growth, they are the foundation of spiritual alignment. As you cultivate these qualities, you'll find that your connection to yourself and the world around you deepens. You'll begin to live with more clarity, purpose, and confidence because you're no longer looking outside yourself for answers or validation. Instead, you're drawing from the well of inner wisdom and strength that lies within you. But this journey can be challenging. It requires facing uncomfortable truths, making difficult decisions, and stepping into the unknown. It requires letting go of the need for approval, the fear of failure, and the habit of blaming others. But the rewards are worth it. You become unshakable when you commit to deepening your spiritual connection and developing inner strength. External circumstances no longer sway you because you've built a foundation of self-trust, confidence, and emotional resilience. You know that, no matter what happens, you have the strength to navigate it with grace and wisdom. Chapter 8, Rediscovering Your Passions. Passions are the fuel that ignites your soul, energizes your life, and gives you a sense of purpose. Yet, too often, life's responsibilities, distractions, and challenges cause us to lose sight of what truly lights us up. Rediscovering your passions is not just a journey back to the things you once loved, it's a vital practice of staying connected to what gives your life meaning. This chapter will guide you in reflecting on what you love, reconnecting with forgotten interests, and keeping your passions alive while exploring new hobbies that can reignite your creative spark. Reflecting on what you love. The first step in rediscovering your passions is to take time for honest reflection. When was the last time you asked yourself, what do I truly love? Too often, we get caught up in the grind of everyday life, forgetting to nurture the things that bring us joy and fulfillment. This reflection isn't about what you think you should love or what others expect from you, it's about diving deep into what excites you at your core. Think back to when you felt most alive and connected to yourself and the world around you. What activities, topics, or pursuits sparked that energy? These are the clues to what you truly love. Often, these passions are buried under layers of responsibilities, doubts, and societal pressures, but they're still there, waiting to be rediscovered. Start by asking yourself a few key questions. What activities make me lose track of time? When do I feel most like myself? What did I love doing as a child before life got busy? Be brutally honest with yourself. Don't filter your answers based on what seems practical or achievable. This is about uncovering the raw, unfiltered truth of what makes you happy, excited, and fulfilled. The more honest you are, the easier it will be to reconnect with your passions. Reflection also involves taking inventory of the things that no longer bring you joy. Are there pursuits you've been holding on to out of habit or obligation rather than genuine passion? Letting go of these can create the space to focus on what excites you. Reconnecting with old interests. Once you've identified what you love, it's time to reconnect with those interests. Just because you've drifted away from a passion doesn't mean it's lost. Life pulls us in different directions, but your old passions are still there, waiting for you to return. Maybe you loved painting, playing an instrument, or writing stories as a child but stopped because life got in the way. Now is the time to rekindle that love. Allow yourself to pick up that old guitar, dust off your art supplies, or start journaling again. Don't worry about being perfect. This isn't about achieving mastery, it's about reigniting the flame that made you fall in love with these activities in the first place. Reconnecting with old passions is also about letting go of the pressure to make them productive. You don't need to turn every hobby into a side hustle or a source of income. Your passions are valuable simply because they bring you joy and fulfillment. If you love gardening, do it for the love of nature, not because you need to grow the perfect flowers. If you enjoy photography, take pictures for yourself, not for likes on social media. Your passions are yours, reclaim them without the weight of external expectations. Take time each week to reconnect with these interests. Schedule it into your life just as you would with any other important commitment. Make space for your passions, whether an hour a day or a few hours on the weekend. The more time you dedicate to these activities, the more you'll rediscover the joy they bring. Keeping passion alive. Once you've reconnected with your passions, the next challenge is keeping that passion alive. It's easy to feel excitement when you first return to something you love, but maintaining that energy over time requires intentional effort. One key to keeping passion alive is making it a consistent part of your life. Passion isn't just about moments of intense enthusiasm, it's about ongoing engagement with the things that bring you joy. Create a routine around your passions, whether that's setting aside a specific time each day to work on your craft or blocking out a few hours each week for a passion project. Consistency is crucial, but so is flexibility. Don't let your passions become rigid or obligatory. Take a break or switch things up if you feel burned or uninspired. Explore new aspects of your passion that you haven't tried before. If you love photography, experiment with new techniques or subjects. If you enjoy writing, challenge yourself to explore different genres or formats. The key is to keep your passion fresh and exciting without turning it into a chore. Another way to keep passion alive is to surround yourself with inspiration. Follow people who share your interests, read books on your favorite topics, and engage with communities that nurture your passion. You're more likely to stay motivated and excited about your pursuits when surrounded by inspiration. Most importantly, stay connected to the why behind your passion. Why do you love this activity? How does it make you feel? What purpose does it serve in your life? Reconnecting with the deeper reasons behind your passion will help you maintain enthusiasm, even when life gets busy or challenges arise. Exploring new hobbies. Rediscovering your passions isn't just about returning to what you once loved but also exploring new hobbies and interests. Your passions may change as you grow and evolve, and that's okay. In fact, one of the most exciting aspects of life is the opportunity to discover new passions that you never knew existed. Trying new hobbies allows you to expand your horizons, challenge yourself, and tap into different aspects of your creativity. Maybe you've always wanted to try something but felt intimidated or unsure if you'd be good at it. Now is the time to take that leap. The possibilities are endless, whether it's learning a new instrument, taking up a sport, or exploring a craft like pottery or woodworking. The key to exploring new hobbies is approaching them with an open mind. Don't worry about being good at it right away. In fact, part of the joy of trying something new is learning and growing. Give yourself permission to be a beginner. Let go of the need for immediate success and embrace the learning curve. The more you allow yourself to explore without pressure, the more likely you discover a new passion. Trying new hobbies also helps keep your creativity alive. When you challenge yourself to learn something new, you activate different parts of your brain and open yourself to fresh ideas and perspectives. Even if the new hobby doesn't become a lifelong passion, the experience of trying it can spark inspiration in other areas of your life. To get started, list hobbies or activities you've always wanted to try. Pick one and commit to giving it a genuine effort for a set period, a month, 6 weeks, or a season. After that, reflect on the experience. Did it spark joy? Did it challenge you in a meaningful way? If so, consider incorporating it into your life more regularly. Overcoming the fear of failure. One of the biggest obstacles to rediscovering passions and exploring new hobbies is the fear of failure. Feeling anxious about trying something new or returning to an old passion after a long break is natural. You may worry that you won't be as good as you once were or that you'll never be able to master the new skill you're learning. Here's the truth: failure is a part of the process. It's not something to fear, it's something to embrace. Every time you try something new, you'll make mistakes, and that's okay. In fact, it's necessary for growth. Failure is how you learn, how you improve, and how you discover what works for you. Instead of seeing failure as a setback, reframe it as a learning experience. Every mistake is an opportunity to grow, and every misstep brings you one step closer to mastery. When you let go of the fear of failure, you open yourself up to the experience of rediscovering your passions and exploring new hobbies without hesitation. Remember, passions aren't about perfection but joy, creativity, and personal fulfillment. If you're not failing, you're not pushing yourself hard enough. So, give yourself permission to fail, to make mistakes, and to keep going no matter what. The more you embrace failure, the more you'll discover about yourself and your passions. Balancing passion with responsibility. One challenge many people face when rediscovering their passions is balancing pursuing what they love and managing their responsibilities. Life can get busy, and it's easy to feel like there's no time for hobbies or personal passions. But here's the thing: you don't have to choose between your passions and responsibilities. You can have both. The key to balancing passion with responsibility is intentional time management. Look at your schedule and identify small pockets of time you can dedicate to your passions. Even if it's just 30 minutes a day, that time can add up over weeks and months. Prioritizing your passions and making them a non-negotiable part of your routine is essential. You can also integrate your passions into your daily life in creative ways. If you love writing, keep a journal by your bed and jot down ideas before you sleep. If you're passionate about fitness, find ways to incorporate movement into your daily routine, like taking a walk during your lunch break. When you weave your passions into your everyday life, they become a natural extension of who you are rather than something you must fit in with your responsibilities. Finally, remember that pursuing your passions isn't selfish, essential for your well-being. When you take time for the things you love, you refill your cup, allowing you to show up more fully for others. By balancing passion with responsibility, you're taking care of yourself and creating a more fulfilling, well-rounded life. Rediscovering your passions is not just about rekindling old loves or trying new things, it's about staying connected to what makes life meaningful. Your passions reflect who you are, and they deserve to be nurtured and prioritized. As you reflect on what you love, reconnect with forgotten interests, and explore new hobbies, remember that this journey is about joy, growth, and personal fulfillment. Your passions don't have to be perfect, productive, or impressive to anyone else, they just have to bring you happiness. As you've journeyed through these chapters, you've taken the time to reflect on what it truly means to be with yourself, nurture your inner world, and discover your deepest passions. The joy of being with yourself is not just a concept, it's a way of life, a powerful practice that allows you to find peace, creativity, and fulfillment from within. This book is for anyone who feels disconnected from themselves, has been searching for meaning, or wants to cultivate a deeper relationship with their true self. It's for those who have been relying on external sources for happiness and are ready to regain control of their well-being. Whether you're just beginning your journey of self-discovery or have been on this path for some time, the practices and insights in this book are meant to guide you toward greater self-awareness, resilience, and inner peace. Remember, the journey of being with yourself is lifelong. It's about constantly evolving, growing, and embracing every part of who you are, your strengths, flaws, passions, and purpose. The more you commit to enjoying your company, the more empowered and fulfilled you'll feel in all areas of your life. So, as you close this book, take the knowledge that everything you need is already within you. You are enough. Embrace the power of solitude, reconnect with your passions, and celebrate the incredible person you are becoming. The joy of being with yourself is not a destination, it's the beautiful, unfolding journey of a lifetime.